Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys had a good night tonight. Football is back, of course. We got another slate for Friday. My Philadelphia Eagles, you guys know I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm super excited for this game. Football on a Friday night. Pretty crazy stuff. Hopefully you guys had a good night tonight. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, prize picks content, sports books, NFL content, all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys had a good night tonight as well. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter. And then as always, I do post these on a subreddit right here called DF Sports. I'll have it linked down below. You can ask me questions about the slate leading up to lock. I'll help you out. Or if you just want to talk to me, I reply to every single one of you. So I'll have that linked down below as well. So before we get into the video, I do show you guys my results every single day. And I showed you guys my last year results for NFL and my career results for NFL, so you know what I'm saying. Has some weight to it. We're all here to learn from each other. I'm trying to get better. Talking with you guys helps me get better. So that's just the whole point, right? Trying to get better at this game we all love. So if you want to check that video out, you can see my results. I did show them, and I'll show you guys my results from tonight. This is my cash game lineup. I mean, there was only 2 good cash game lineups tonight, with this one being the best. If you weren't playing Rashee Rice in the captain tonight, I don't know what you were doing in cash games, just punting money into the fire. But yeah, Rashee Rice in the captain, absolute must for cash games. He was just way too cheap. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, absolute must in cash games. Xavier Worthy was way too cheap, and went Harrison Butker. And then Mark Andrews absolutely killed me in GPPs. But yeah, had a really good day in cash games. Most of my volume is cash games, so I had a good amount on cash games today. So that helped as well. Then I did a 20 max and then some other stuff. So I'll show you my 20 max. Lost a little bit of money, like $10, $15 in this. But as you can see, I had Mark Andrews in like pretty much most of my lineups. Unfortunately, had him in this. This was an absolute nuke. He killed that one. Mark Andrews in that one. Mark Andrews in that one. So just unfortunate stuff. I was really high on Mark Andrews. So, but lucky to get out unscathed from GPPs. Cash games just nuked, so that was great. And yeah, let's get into the slate. If you're looking for more DFS content, sports books, all the good stuff, I'll have my Discord link down below. And if you bet on sports books, I do post some props on Twitter. If you guys want them, I already posted this for tomorrow. If you want to take that, that's fine. Josh Jacobs, 2.5 receptions. I posted Isaiah Pacheco rush attempts, that cashed. So yeah, check it all out. All right, let's get into the slate. So we'll start with my Eagles. So one thing to note is there's going to be a lot of changes for the Eagles offense. There's going to be a lot of changes for the Packers defense. They hired a new defensive coordinator. What's his name? Starts with Jeff Havley, Boston College, I want to say. They hired him. He likes to run a lot of man coverage, press man coverage. So that's one thing that's going to change with the Packers. And then on defense, they do like to try to load the box, stop the run a bit, play one high, so that they're playing one safety deep. So they're trying to stop the run, mainly playing man press coverage. So we'll talk about some wide receivers on the Eagles and tight ends that I like that'll benefit from that. So yeah, that's some changes. And then on the Eagles, Kellen Moore obviously got hired. So what he likes to do, you're going to see a lot of Jalen Hurts under center. Before, the Eagles never really played Jalen Hurts under center much, so you're going to see a bit of Jalen Hurts under center. You might see more designed runs for him that way. And stuff like that. So thought again of that. There's going to be a lot of changes. Can't go off last year's stuff with both these teams. There's so many changes to it. But mainly both the same personnel for both teams as far as position players. So that's nice. All right, let's get into it. So let's talk about Jalen Hurts. I think at this price point, he's cheaper than A.J. Brown. I think he's one of the best plays in the slate. He's definitely up there. Probably the best play on the slate for me at 10.6K. Rushing upside, you have the push, huge upside with, rushing touchdowns. This game is projected to be a neutral game script. Eagles are only 2.5-point favorites. Total, I believe, is 48.5, I want to say. Let's take a look. 49.5. So pretty high total here, 2.5-point favorites. So yeah, you should see Jalen Hurts having to throw the ball here. You should see runs for him. Like I said, he's going to be playing under center a bit more. That's going to keep the defenses at bay a little bit. That you could see more design runs for him. It's going to be interesting to see what Kellen Moore does with this offense. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, 10.6K, rushing upside. Should have to throw the ball a decent amount in this game. I think he looks phenomenal. I think he's a much better play than Jordan Love. So really like Jalen Hurts at that price point. AJ Brown, I like in GPPs. I think people are going to have a tough time paying 11K for AJ Brown on this slate. You have a lot of cheaper options like Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith. AJ Brown's a guy that could feast, with the new Packers coverage that I'm expecting to run. So I like him quite a bit. I think he's more a GPP play for me just because he's so expensive. We'll see. I haven't messed with builds. We'll see. But like Jalen Hurts is going to be a cash staple. We'll see what roster construction brings. But if AJ Brown's going to be lower owned because of the price point, I really like him. Saquon Barkley, I think it's just there for me. Green Bay, they're going to be super thin at running back. They might only have like Josh Jacobs tomorrow, but Saquon's going to project better than Josh Jacobs. But I do think Green Bay is going to try to do a good job stopping the run tomorrow. I think he's a good play at 9.4K. I much prefer Devontae Smith, though, at 9K, who should absolutely feast if Green Bay is going to play, man press coverage. That's going to help Dallas Goedert at 5.8K. So Devontae Smith, I really like at 9K. I think Saquon's a good play to at 9.4K. Prefer Saquon straight up to Josh Jacobs. Point per dollar. What's his price? I think it's a bit close. 8.2K. I would say Jacobs might be a bit better point per dollar, but I think both are decent. Like I said, I really like Devontae Smith. I think Dallas Goedert is intriguing. I'm hoping they'll probably come in a bit lower owned tomorrow. I probably doubt it, but definitely my two favorite point per dollar Eagles pass catchers. Really high on both of them. And then, kickers, they're just there for me. You guys know. Kickers correlate with the quarterbacks. They correlate with their quarterbacks. So if you're playing Jalen Hurts lineups, hey, maybe you throw in some Jake Elliott in those lineups. That's fine. I think, people go about it wrong. Oh, I'm just going to play the kicker that looks better to me. I think that's definitely not the right way about going about it. So if you're playing Jalen Hurts lineups, I think, you might as well, if you're choosing between a kicker, play Jake Elliott in those lineups because they do correlate with your quarterbacks, right? So Jake Elliott, I think, is solid. Eagles defense, no strong takes on the defenses. They're just fine for me. And then we get to the punt. So Jahan Dotson, wide receiver 3. I don't know how much volume he's going to get. Like you have AJ Brown, you have Saquon Barkley who can pass catches, right? Nice high floor with the ceiling on top of it, right? Should get a ton of volume. I would expect at least 60 to 65% of the snaps here for Saquon Barkley, right? So, and then you have Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. So I don't know what his target share is going to be like. It's probably going to be really low, but he's playable at 3.2K. I don't mind it. Kenny Gainwell at 3.4K should be the running back too. I'm not sure if they mix in some Shipley. Shipley had a really good preseason. He actually looked pretty good, but the Eagles are in love with Kenneth Gainwell, so I would expect Kenneth Gainwell to be behind Saquon Barkley. So fine dart. We'll talk about some Green Bay punts in a minute. If they're available, they're all questionable for some reason. But yeah, I mean, they're just darts for me. Will Shipley, large field GPP dart, if you think they want to give him some run. He had a really good preseason. Like I said, Jalen Wilson, he'll mix in some Calcaterra. They'll run some 2 tight end sets. Just a punt for me at 1K. Britton Covey, he should mix in as well. He's also their punt returner. So if for some reason you want to double dip and play like Britton Covey with the Eagles defense, you could double dip and get double the points, right? Because look at the touchdown for the punt return. The Eagles defense will also get points for that. So Covey, if you want to do that, I think that's fine, but nothing more in a large field GPP player for me. And I think that's going to be it for the Eagles. I don't like much else. I don't know why the player pool is so big either, but yeah, favorite plays here definitely going to be like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley. I think is good. He's going to have a good role. AJ Brown, obviously, but yeah, Dallas Goedert. If he's low on tomorrow, I really like him in GPPs. Moving on to the Packers, I think Jordan Love's good, right? Quarterbacks, they have high floors, they have ceilings on top of it. I technically like to limit my captain exposure to the quarterbacks outside of like unicorns, like Jalen Hurts, like Lamar Jackson, those type guys that have a ton of rushing upside. So I don't really like playing quarterbacks in the captain unless it's those type guys. But yeah, they're dogs. Should have to throw the ball a ton. He has a really, really talented wide receiver room. Josh Jacobs now, who they're talking about, they want to get involved in the passing game. So yeah, Jordan Love, good play. I do prefer Jalen Hurts though. Then we get into Josh Jacobs. They're gonna have nobody behind him. Nobody behind him. AJ Dillon's obviously on IR. Possibly Lloyd and Emmanuel Wilson. They're both questionable, I believe. So they could have no. Let's see if they made any updates. Questionable, nothing there. And yeah, questionable. So we'll see, but yeah, Jacobs gonna get a heavy dose. I'm expecting him to be involved in the passing game as well as watching a bunch of interviews. They said they want him running routes. They said they want him involved in the passing game. I already took us, like I said, 2.5 receptions. He's gonna play a ton. You could see him out there for like 85% of the snaps tomorrow. Really like Josh Jacobs at that price point. Just super high floor with the ceiling as well. I think he's the safest of like the skill position players outside of Jordan Love on this team because the wide receiver situation is definitely a bit sticky. So yeah, Jacobs definitely my favorite play outside of Jordan Love on this team. Then we get into like the tight ends. Tucker Kraft, he's questionable. If he plays, he's fine. I think I prefer Luke Musgrave at 4.6K. If Tucker Kraft is out, then you could throw darts on Sims at $200. He would be firmly in play at the flat min price. That's fine. What else? Kickers, you guys know what to do. Defenses, like you said, the same. And then we get into like the punt running back. So if they have one of these guys available, I think they're firmly in play. If they have both available, I would just follow the depth chart. Maybe we'll get news prior to lock on who will be the running back too. They would be a decent value. They'd be a lot thinner at running back, right? But would prefer 2 running backs instead of 3. So would like the running back punts. And then we get into the wide receivers. So it's going to be pretty disgusting. So I was trying to look at, total snaps. We didn't really have a sample last year with all the wide receivers healthy. They were all banged up, I want to say, all last year. But looking at the price points, you have Dobbs at 6.8K, you have Reed at 6.4K, you have Watson at 5.6K, Dontavian Wicks at 5.4K. Those are going to be the main guys. Then you have Melton, you have Heath. So breaking down this wide receiver room, I think the guy that stands out to me the most at his current price point is going to be a guy like Jaden Reed at 6.4K, but I probably going to be the most popular. And I like Christian Watson at 5.6. I think that seems like a bit too cheap to me at that price point. Wicks is fine, but I prefer Watson. And then, like I said, there wasn't really games with all of them healthy. This was the playoff game up against San Francisco last year. The wide receiver snaps just all over the place. Like Watson, he played 22 snaps, Jaden Reed 29, Romeo Dobbs 34. And I went through all the regular season games with all of them healthy, and it was absolute mess trying to figure this out. So no strong takes with the wide receivers. I think, like I said, I think Christian Watson, Jaden Reed are my favorites. I think Romeo Dobbs probably is the highest ceiling of the bunch. And then Dontavian Wicks is fine. If you want to throw darts and like Melton Heath, that's okay. Yeah, guys, just keep an eye on the news. Keep an eye on who's healthy. And I'll make updates on Reddit when we do get more news for lock, because there is a decent amount of news with Tucker Kraft, but the running backs for the Packers could change a decent amount before lock tomorrow. So hopefully you guys had a good night tonight. I had a good night. Hopefully to keep that going tomorrow. And I will talk to y'all later.